And then I know Morphe. Wow, she's just like a scholar. So you won't want to miss the last, but also one of the best. Let's welcome Morphe.
Thank you, Dana. Actually, I was curious about how Dana could have so many different opening courses, right? Actually, you are the most excellent. I'm so proud of your roommate and your partners. And all right, so good morning, everyone. Okay, I'm Morphe from Sanxia Junior High School. I know all of our partners have the different important and meaningful strategies adopted in their classes, and I also integrated some of them into my class. But today I would like to focus on only one, CLIL methods. But before that, as in response to what Faith mentioned, less is more. Okay, so before that, I will show you my outline. Okay, as you can see, and I will speak it first. And less is more. So of course we learn a lot in the Simon Fraser University in this program. And for example, when I teach the family tree, and my only goal is to help my students to introduce their family members, so I ask them to bring their photos, even though that's not about the CLIL, so how should I say, focus on the CLIL, but also I integrate it into my class, and that is the only goal. And also I want my students to do some peer reviews and editing, and here from this class, I talk less, and I let my students do more. And then I also adopted inquiry-based learning when I taught the plural forms of the nouns, and I think that's the idea from Jen, sorry. Okay, and anyway, also, and it's inquiry-based learning. And the balanced literacy, I want my students to practice their speaking and listening, and they have to, actually it's also about journey, what the Faith mentioned, and then it's a picture about the anti-war, and it's a journey, all right? So, and right now I'm going to focus on my own action research. And here is my class background, and there are 29 7th grader, and also they sit in pairs according to groups, and this is our textbook, actually. And actually the students in Sanxia, because we are in the suburban area, it's not like downtown area, so students actually have very few chances of using English, and the lack of the motivation, some of them, okay? And actually they have the polarized the English proficiency levels, okay? And here are my goals and the focus in my class. I hope them to be able to enhance their productive skills, which means like speaking and writing. And content focus will be like I want them to comprehend the subject contents in English. And then I will take one example. But before that, I would like to talk about CLIL in case some of the partners here, teachers here may not be so familiar with this idea. So as you can see, it's a dual focus, which means they focus on content, the subject, and the language integrated. Okay, all right. And here I only take one example, which is from our textbook, the Unit 3, about the lab rules. And there are 3 stages for CLIL. Actually, I adopted Angel Ling's framework, and unfortunately she's not here. But I will really learn a lot from her classes, actually. So there are 3 stages. The first stage is we try to create a rich experiential context for our students. And first I will give them some leading questions. In the science class, they may need to enter the lab. What would they see? And guessing, so they can draw the layout or a picture of the lab. Okay, then they will have the lab tour to. Actually, I will borrow the labs from our science teachers, and then she will work with me, and we introduce the equipment and explain the rules. And then I want my students to compare and contrast what they guess and what they really see in the lab. Lastly, I hope they can build their vocabulary with the real RILIA, which means the scientific instruments. Okay, and here actually the stage 2 is about reading or note-taking, and this is from part of our textbook, the lab rules, as you can see. And I would like my students to do some genre and register analysis, so they will discuss in groups, so they may find out that all the rules would start with the verb root, okay, imperative mood, so it'll be the subject and in a neutral and a familiar tone. And the closing sentence will be like, oh, please follow the rules and do not break the rules, something like that. And then I would like them to have the translation practice. So I want them to help our school lab. Actually, we have the Chinese version, but we don't have the English version one. So I want to let them have the chances to translate. So as you can see, actually I adopted this CLIL methods to different 3 classes. I have taught the 3 classes. So this is one, and this is their engagement, and this is my homework class, my own class. So they discuss with each other, and actually the book they are trying to figure out it's the science book and try to translate it into English, and then they discuss with each other. And actually that's their group work, and I asked them to write it down on the poster. So they try to make it, and actually one of the groups did make it more specific, and then some of them make it very clear and precise, as you can see. And the last stage is like try to engage the students in a contextualized experiences. So first of all, I will ask the students where they can see the notice of the rules, like a swimming pool or a library, something like that. And maybe they can, I will invite them to choose the top 3 places they are interested in, and then group into the heterogeneous groups, and encourage them to search for relevant information and interview a person. For example, as for the school rules, they can interview the principal. Maybe for the swimming pool, they can interview the lifeguard. Okay, and and the last part will be more like the project. So I want them to have them to design a poster based on the rules, the different places, because what I learned is about the lab, but I want them to contextualize into the different fields. For example, like the swimming pool or basketball course, something like that, and they can have the mini presentation poster works. All right. And actually, later on part, I will talk about my student feedback. Actually, it's written in Chinese, but what I want to focus on here is that I want to create a safe and comfortable space for my students. So even though they are afraid of speaking English, or actually the one who wrote this one is a naughty boy, but he trying to answer a question. So he was glad that he didn't say I can't and just silent. So he tried his best to think and try. Okay. And this one is actually just a note from their communication book, and then actually what she mentioned is that the class is interesting and they can work on it with the other classmates. And this one is about, I think it's a family trip activity, because they can learn how to enhance their oral speaking skills, and then they can know how to introduce their family members. And the last one, I think, is about the lab rules, because they can work on it with other classmates and even integrate into the science group, science field. What they learn could be connected to each other. Okay, and this is our students' feedback. And the last part will be my inspiration from SFU Life. Okay, first of all, I think the most impressed or the meaningful part that I learned is about diversity and inclusion courses, because it seldom happens in our class, in Taiwan's classroom actually. So this issue will be seldom touched upon. Okay, even we can see we had a lot of school visits, so I can see like the library there are some books about Aboriginal tribes or some different issues. So they try to incorporate or integrate the different kind of races or the different kind of the cultures. So as you can see the poster here, actually I'm really surprised. It's about a parent-teacher meeting, and it says your family is welcome. And as you can see, even though your family could be composed of the different members. So I was so surprised, and I'm so glad to see this poster showing their school actually. Maybe hope someday our school will have this kind of ideas into our school campus, and our parents meeting. Okay, and then actually in the SFU we have a lot of field trips, and I love that. This is one we went to the Molson Creek Park, and I think it's more like the biology stuff, and we observe the insects, and I can see that's very interesting that even just a quick, and you can touch upon, and you embrace nature, right? And you can learn a lot from this trip. That is one example. We also went to other places. And then actually, I think the most important in this program is that I have the community, because actually FAST is my partner, so we will give the peer review all the time. And actually in the program, we have the different groups, and sometimes we will interact with each other and learn a lot. Actually, I learned a lot from your presentation in the morning, in the previous one. So actually we create the community agreement. I think I hope it could be last forever, okay? And I learned a lot from this program, and I also encourage my colleagues to join this program and enjoy those teachers coming here and to join this program. You will learn a lot from this program, okay? All right, thank you for your attention. Thank you.